Welcome to our 22-day Holland America cruise aboard the beautiful New Amsterdam from Fort Lauderdale, Florida to Vancouver, BC, transiting the Panama Canal. Lots of fun adventures in very cool ports of call. Unfortunately, there are no drones allowed on Holland America cruises, so Tyrone had to stay home, and I wasn't able to get any drone footage during our cruise. Even though the New Amsterdam is considered a mid-sized cruise ship by today's standards, it's still very large, and you need to be prepared for a lot of walking down long hallways and up and down many sets of stairs to get around on the ship. We were fortunate to be able to upgrade our stateroom to one of the large Neptune suites. Ours is one of the very desirable corner staterooms at the aft of the ship with a large wraparound deck. Suite 4176. Pure luxury for our longest cruise to date. And here's our corner Neptune suite. A very spacious room with a king-size bed, a ton of closets, and lots of room to spread out for our 3-week cruise. Excellent. The bathroom has a bunch more closets behind these mirrored doors, a nice little makeup area for Stevie to spread her stuff out, and a much larger bathroom than you would find in the other suites and staterooms. Very nice. Now let's check out the supersized outdoor space. These corner Neptune suites have these nice, large wraparound decks with lots of options for hanging around outside. And there always seems to be a spot out of the sun and out of the wind. What a great upgrade. And here's another long walk. I'm off to join the rest of my party at our favorite hangout, the Ocean Bar. I think I hear a cocktail calling my name. One of the reasons we cruise exclusively with Holland America is the fabulous dining room. The food and service is always amazing. And if you want to change it up, there's always the Lido Grill with its eclectic, extensive, crazy selection. Or you can book one of the specialty restaurants, the Pinnacle Grill, Tamarind, Canaletto, or Morimoto by Sea. Such amazing options.
Pressure on us, Henry. I don't know if I can cook like this.
She can. She can.
I'm sure you can, madam.
She can.
So, and...
Oh, it's a work of art. It's a work of art.
Excellent. Thank you.
This one done the party volleyball. Enjoy your smoke.
Thanks so much.
Well, we've arrived in the Dominican Republic, getting ready for our ATV trip today. Very pretty. Be docking in a few minutes. shore, Dominican Republic, Cabo Rojo. Second cruise ship ever to dock here. Brand new port, pretty cool. Doing our ATV tour today.
The port's still under construction, that's how new it is.
All set. On the ATV tour, we played Follow the Leader around and around a bunch of trails in an old mine site. Clouds of red dust everywhere. Man, did we get dirty. The very messy ATV ride is over. Got all the red mud washed off. Now we're down the beach. Very nice. Stevie, we got her water shoes for her. Here's your shoes.
Thank you.
Whew.
Clean those off.
That's what it looks like underwater. All of us heading back to the ship. Thank goodness. It's been a long, hot day.
That's fun.
It was so much fun.
And then there's our bus.
And now it was time to get back on board and spend a bunch of time trying to clean off all that red mud. It was everywhere. After a great supper in the dining room, there was an after-dark surprise present to the ship from Cabo Rojo.
Dang, Larry, that's freaking awesome. It is freaking awesome. Pretty awesome fireworks in the DR today. Wow! Larry,
Crazy!
was it the best fireworks of your life?
Yes! For sure, it was right on top of us!
Oh, it blew us out of the balcony here.
Oh, man! That was amazing!
Off to our second port of call, Willemstad in Curacao. We're heading to the Bat Caves.
The Bat Caves. Good thing we went to the Bat Room ahead of time.
We're at the Bat Cave. Just found out we can't film in the cave. Disappointing.
But we get to climb 49 stairs.
That'll be fun. 3/4 of the way through the tour, we were told we could film. So we did manage to get a little bit of footage.
Time to head back.
A little after 8 o'clock at night, we decided to get back off the ship and head back into Willemstad to check out the floating bridge. And man, did the ship look pretty with its lights on.
A floating bridge. All lit up. Very cool. Walking into Willemstad, crossing the bridge in a minute.
Film the big ball on the table.
It's early in the morning. We have to change the clocks back, so it says earlier than it is, but coming into Cartagena, Colombia. Quite warm even though it's early morning, and a little bit muggy, but not too bad. So we'll have a coffee and get the day started off right before we head into Cartagena. Yeah, we circled around and came into this little area here. Wow.
That's spectacular.
Cartagena. What a beautiful city.
Our walking tour of Gethsemane and the Old City was excellent. We had a great guide who told us lots of the history of the area and provided lots of local color. And at one point, we got passed by one of the other tour options, a tour in old classic cars. These old neighborhoods of Cartagena are designated as a UNESCO World Heritage Site and remain a window into Cartagena's past. What an eclectic and beautiful area. On the tour, we visited the Armeria Real Hotel, an old boutique hotel in the old city. There, we went up to the rooftop bar and had some delicious coconut lemonade, a welcome cold, refreshing drink on a hot and muggy day. Although, it would have been even better with a little Tito's handmade vodka in it.
Coconut lemonade. Should be good. It's a video.
Oh, it's a video. I'm holding the pose. Holding the pose. Okay, cheers.
Cheers. That's very tasty.
It's delicious.
Except for the coconut.
Okay.
Time to get back on the ship and get underway to Cologne, Panama, and the beginning of our Panama Canal Day.
Well, it's Panama Canal Day today, and we're waiting our turn to go into the canal. We're sitting still right now. We'll get started in about 15 minutes. We'll pass underneath the Atlantic Bridge and then into the first lock. So I'm going to go out and get the time-lapse camera started. So we'll have a nice film from the rear of the ship.
Panama Canal Passage Day was one of the highlights of the entire 3-week cruise. The day before we entered the canal, we attended an amazing lecture about the history of the Panama Canal. It was super fascinating. For the canal passage, we entered the canal at Colon and went up the 3 Gatun locks from the Atlantic Ocean to Gatun Lake. We then traveled through Gatun Lake for a lot of hours, a long ways, past what looked like islands but were the tops of hills, because Gatun Lake is really a flooded river. And then we went down the 3 Miraflores locks to the Pacific Ocean at Panama City. The whole passage took us an entire day. Delay at this lock was a pause to allow a passenger with a medical emergency to be evacuated from the ship to hospital. This was one of 2 evacuations from the ship. The second was by a U.S. Coast Guard helicopter off the coast of California.
Well, we're through the last lock. Time to turn the action cam off and head down to supper and have a nice glass of wine. We're pulling into Punta Arenas, Costa Rica. We're heading off on an alligator safari adventure, hopefully not get eaten by alligators. But yeah, just pulling to the port now. Waiting in the theater for our tour to be called. Very hot out today. Heading for the bus. Crocodile Safari. We've arrived at the beginning of the crocodile tour. Cool bus ride, lots of interesting information on Costa Rica. This is a very cool country. Let's look at see some crocodiles.
Alright, let's go.
What boat are we on?
I don't know.
Yeah, down here somewhere. What was that boat number?
Oh, number 2. Yeah, you can just follow the arrow. You can follow the rest of the group. Oh, number 2.
Lots of boats. Torcalis River, rain of crocodiles. I don't think I'm going swimming. Are you worried about losing fingers, Stevie?
Keeping my fingers and toes in the boat.
Wise idea.
We were fortunate enough to see 2 of the big, old alpha males. Here's Captain Hook and his spooky disappearance underwater. Sunning himself on the side of the river is the mysterious and seldom seen Osama bin Laden, the one-eyed alpha male.
Back on the bus, saw some awesome crocodiles.
So fantastic. And so many birds. Probably about 15 different bird species and 2 kinds of monkeys.
2 kinds of monkeys. Howler monkeys and
White
face-
cappuccino, something, right?
white cappuccinis. Something like
Coffee
that.
monkeys.
Yeah, cappuccino monkeys, we'll call them. The 2 big alligators we saw were Osama bin Laden, who's hardly ever seen, and
Captain Hook. Captain Hook, because he was missing a front prong.
there you have it.
And so it's goodbye, Costa Rica. Next stop, Huatuco, Mexico.
We are just getting ready to dock in Huatuco. Let's have a look. Off the ship in Huatuco, we're going to walk to town, about a mile walk. Pretty hot and muggy out here.
Woo-wee, so hot.
Then we'll come back and get ready for a swim and go back out to the beach. We're going to need it after we go to town.
We had been told that the walk from the cruise port to La Cruciata was a pleasant walk through a forested area. Not anymore. Now it was clearly a condo construction zone without a hint of shade.
Well, we bailed on the walk to town, a little hot and muggy, and so we're going to go back, get bathing suits on, and go for a swim instead. Our cabin is the far left corner on the 4th deck, just above the walking promenade to the open area. Well, it's a day at sea today, going between Watuco and PV. It's quite a long haul. We left Watuco at 5:30 last night, sailed all night. We sail all day, all night tonight, and don't arrive in PV till 1 p.m. tomorrow. So that's almost 2 full sea days, long distance. Well, after a hot, steamy stop in Watuco the other day, we're coming into PV. About 1 this afternoon will be there. Temperature much nicer, humidity much lower, so we're going to just walk into town today. We've been here 4 or 5 times before, so we didn't book any excursions. And we'll just kind of wander around, maybe get down to the Malecon, maybe not. We'll see how things go. Well, we made it off the ship, but we lost our friends, Stevie.
Yeah, we did. Larry Barth!
Where are you? Well, maybe they'll show up. Certainly they'll show up tonight for supper.
Where are you going?
Hour late leaving PV because one of the boat tours was very late getting back. Once they docked and we got everybody on board, we were underway and off to Cabo.
Yeah.
Well, we arrived in Cabo San Lucas sometime earlier this morning, kind of opened the curtains, and here we were. Beautiful spot just off all the rocks and the arch. Here's the view from our deck. It's still on! It's still on! Lots of boats in Cabo.
Live jazz.
I saw that. I wonder what Mexican jazz sounds like. Better drink margaritas while you're listening to that. There's always an Irish pub. Every place has an Irish pub. Well, Cabo has changed dramatically since we were here about 10 years ago. This whole new section we couldn't even recognize as we walked down. Very cool.
As our tender made its way to the ship to get us back on board after our afternoon in Cabo, we got a wonderful circle tour of the beautiful New Amsterdam. on board the New Amsterdam, and it was time to say goodbye to Cabo and head north to San Diego, California.
But we got into San Diego very early this morning. Did a nice time lapse from like 5 till 6:30. It was pretty chilly at 5 when I put the camera out, but it was a nice little time lapse, so it was worth doing it. So today, San Diego. And our plan today, we have to get off the ship because they have to clear the ship as about half the guests are getting off, and we got a bunch of new guests coming on. So we're going to go wander about 12 minutes down the piers and tour the USS Midway. Something I've always wanted to do, so that should be cool. And hopefully we'll be able to use the camera and get some video and still shots.
Here is the USS Carl Vinson and the USS Abraham Lincoln, two of the Nimitz-class supercarriers.
USS Midway. Stevie, that's a big ship.
The passageways on the ship were very confusing, so we asked one of the guides, how did you not get lost when you were on board? He said all you really needed to know was where you slept, where you ate, and where you worked.
Yeah, I think, like, just the fact that they're, you know, attached makes it hard too, right? Failed.
This whole thing has been way too cool so far. We still have 7 decks of ship to check out, plus the flight deck. Overwhelming.
The sick bay and the dental clinic were much larger than I expected, but with 4,500 personnel on board, it was probably a very busy place. The dental clinic was especially interesting to look at as both Steph and I had spent our whole careers in dentistry, and I had spent 8 years in the Royal Canadian Dental Corps. This is a diorama of the USS Gerald Ford, one of the newest Navy carriers and the USS Langley, the very first Navy carrier, a converted collier ship. What an amazing difference in size. The Maritime Museum looks very cool, but we just didn't have the energy to go through it today. So I guess I'll have to wait till my next trip here before I get a chance to go inside a submarine. After a cloudy, cool, damp day in San Diego, it was time to leave sunny Southern California and head north to our next port of call. Our next port of call was Astoria, Oregon, just up the mouth of the Columbia River. To get there, we had to pass the Columbia Bar, considered one of the most dangerous bar crossings in the world, dubbed the graveyard of the Pacific. Thankfully, we had calm seas and an easy passage up to our anchorage just off Astoria.
My thoughts make me tired, just running through my mind.
Well, here we are, up the Columbia River at Astoria, Oregon. Came in very early this morning, set up the time-lapse camera to get a shot of us coming in. Didn't look too spectacular because it was dark most of the way and there wasn't much to see along the river. But anyways, in Astoria today, we're going to head into town on the tender because only one cruise ship parking spot, and that's taken up by another ship already. So we're tendering in, short tender ride, and we're going to go see the Maritime Museum and check out downtown Astoria. A little rainy today, so we'll have to get some of our Vancouver gear on. Here we are, anchored just off Astoria, waiting for the tenders to town to begin. Earlier we passed under the Astoria-Megler Bridge, which stretches 4.1 miles from the Olympic Peninsula in Washington to Astoria, and is part of Highway 101, which stretches all the way from the Canadian border to Mexico. The Columbia River Maritime Museum was amazing. Great visual exhibits detailing the often dangerous maritime history of this area with some great stories of famous sea rescues. Definitely worth a visit.
We're going, Stevie. Moe's Seafood and Chowder. You know, that's got lots of good things in that name.
There's also Fort George Brewery and Public House.
So, Stevie, what are we going to have for lunch?
Fish and chips, clams,
Chowder.
oysters, chowder.
Good lunch. good was that lunch?
It was fantastic.
That lunch was great. The clam chowder was exceptional. We'll be back. So while we're in Astoria, we decided to do a geocache and found a really cool visual cache near where we got off the tender. So we got the information we need. We're going to email it to the guy that said it, and then we'll get to log this cache. A big metal object.
Let's get these tenders aboard and then we can be on our way to Victoria.
Well, this morning, about 9, we finally docked in Victoria, and we're going to get off the ship, go for a walk, do a little shopping, and then get back on board for our last supper tonight before we disembark in Vancouver tomorrow morning. Outside the ship, though, we have a neighbor I'm going to show you.
The New Amsterdam is part of the second largest class of Holland American ships and holds 2,100 passengers. The Norwegian Encore is one of the smallest Norwegian cruise line ships and holds 4,000 passengers.
Here's Stevie coming off the ship after returning to give back the umbrella, which turned inside out in the first 5 seconds of walking. So no umbrella for us.
It was an unusually wet and miserable day in Victoria, unlike the beautiful weather which always seems to be here when we visit. We just decided to walk its familiar streets and do a little bit of shopping. Kind of sad to know this was our last port of call on this amazing cruise, that we were going to be disembarking in Vancouver to go home tomorrow.
I want that window. That one out back here, the big deck.
Unfortunately, just at the end of the cruise, with the prospect of a great time lapse of us entering Vancouver past Stanley Park and under the Lionsgate Bridge, I had equipment failure. Required firmware update of my Osmo Action Cam the night before, reset the camera to factory settings, and get rid of all my presets. I didn't notice this, and the result was no footage of most of our entrance to Vancouver. So disappointing.
Goodbye, New Amsterdam. The Pinnacle Grill.
This 22-day Panama Canal cruise was so much fun. Great ports of call and a wonderful experience aboard the beautiful New Amsterdam. Getting to share the experience with our great friends Barb and Larry made the cruise especially memorable. See you next time.